I'm just going to, just before I kind of talk a little bit more about the kind of Our World project, and obviously give you all a bit of time for asking questions at the end, I'm going to hand over to Anne Robertson, who is one of SEAT's trustees, and I'm sure quite a lot of you may already know Anne from various sort of CPD sessions that you've been to over the years. But I'll pass on to Anne just now, and then I'll speak to you all in just a moment.
Thanks, Alex. Could you share that slide?
Yes, I'm just going to do that just now. Sorry,
maybe
2 seconds.
Maybe just everybody, if they could go on mute as well. I'm not sure everybody's actually on
at
the moment. Oh, hang on, I can put them on mute. There we go. I've done it.
Okay, great. Let me just share this just now.
Yeah, so I'm going to be really quick here because this is really Alex's gig. But I'm delighted to be here with you all today. Like Alex said, I am one of the trustees of SEAT. So I sit on the board of SEAT, and over the years, I've really enjoyed learning about and seeing the development of Our World competition. It's a fantastic competition to be involved in. So well done all of you for coming along today to find out more about it. And I'm sure you're going to see just how fantastic it is through the session today. So I just wanted to say a couple of things at the start about just some things to consider with Our World competition, because it does open up quite a lot of opportunities just in terms of your curriculum and in terms of what you can do with it. So, for example, linking to your existing award. So if you're thinking of it for a particular year group, and you already do something like your Languages for Life and Work Award, for example, or your National 4, National 5, then there are opportunities to actually think about it in terms of that and look to see how you can link it in with your existing assessment. So it's just something to think about at the start of this, and when Alex goes through how it works, and thinking about how you can perhaps link that into some of the work that you already do. And similarly, I think it's one of the great things about Our World competition is just how flexible it is and how it can link into those agendas around about sustainability, global citizenship. And again, thinking about that in terms of relevance of your curriculum and relevance for the young people, and thinking about what that looks like in terms of their learning, but also maybe thinking about that as an opportunity to capture their voice and thinking about what it does in terms of their engagement through the process of taking part in the competition. In particular, this is something to think about if you're in the situation, which a lot of you I know will be, that you're really singing for your supper at the moment in terms of languages and uptake. And also something to really celebrate and share with your senior management as well. So if you're looking to shine a light on what you're doing, to shine a light on the experiences the learners have had through the process, then it's maybe something to think about at the start in terms of your planning. What are you going to do to capture that engagement, capture that learner voice, so then there's something that you can then share about that when you come to the end of the project. And similarly, it would make a really nice bit of professional inquiry if you are looking at this as an example of something in terms of the engagement for the learners, the impact on the learners, if that has any subsequent impact in terms of uptake or attainment, engagement. So those kinds of things, maybe just to think about. So if that is something you're looking at in terms of professional inquiry, then it would make a really nice piece of work for that. And lastly, I've put in a link there to the TILES self-evaluation website. And this is a website that we have developed in the South East local authorities in partnership with Murray House. And it touches on a lot of these big issues around about relevance, curriculum, learner voice and engagement. And there's a link to that there, and it goes into each of these different areas in more depth. So it's just a little bit of extra reading there for you in case you're interested. Okay, I think that's everything from me, really. It's just a quick run through, some things to think about, and I'll hand you back over to Alex.
All right, thanks a lot, Anne. Really appreciate your input there. Okay, so well, first of all, good afternoon and welcome to this information session and sort of continued career-long professional learning event run by the Scottish European Educational Trust, or SEAT. And this is just to provide you with a bit more kind of an overview and some more in-depth information about the Our World project, which I think everyone on this call has signed up already. But there may be a couple of other people that haven't yet sort of filled in the form, so I'll give some more details a little bit later about how you can get involved if you're not already part of the team for this year. So my name's Alex. I'm the project's coordinator, and as I said, there'll be plenty of opportunities for any questions you might have as we go through the session. So today we'll run through a little bit about about SEAT and what we do and the projects that we run, and of course I'll focus specifically on the Our World project and the benefits that it can bring to its participants. I'll also talk a little bit. I'll give you a sort of overview of the timeline of when you can expect everything to happen over the next over this academic year. We will also look at the new categories, which this is a new addition to the project just this year. So Our World Juniors and Our World Senior Phase. I shouldn't be saying sort of any of the benefits of Our World without backing it up with some evidence. So we'll hear a few sort of testimonials from past participants, and then I'll run through a bit more about what is required from schools in order to take part, and again outlining a little bit about how you can get involved as well. And then we'll have if any questions come up at any point, please you can put them into the chat box and they can be answered at the end, or I'll just open up the floor at the end as well. So no problems there. Okay, so what actually is SEAT? Well, I'm hoping that this short video clip will give you a bit more of an overview of who we are. And if there's any problems with seeing or hearing the video, please do let me know. I'm hoping that we're not having any technical difficulties today, but of course, just let me know if there's any issues with that.
The Scottish European Educational Trust, or SEAT, is a non-political charity committed to promoting international education, skills development and language learning amongst young people in Scotland. We're a small team, but SEAT is proud to work with around 3,000 primary and secondary school pupils across Scotland each year to build the skills, knowledge and confidence to look outward and to engage with other cultures. Euroquiz is an annual project open to all primary 6 pupils across Scotland, which sees teams of 4 working together to broaden their knowledge of Europe and the wider world. Subjects covered include languages, history, geography, culture and European affairs. Heats take place in local authorities, with the winning teams from all areas progressing to the national Euroquiz final, held in the debating chamber of the Scottish Parliament. Our World is a creative filmmaking project for S3 to S6 pupils. Teams of 4 are asked to create ideas for a film based on set themes relating to global citizenship and including at least one language other than English. Pupils send their ideas to us in storyboard form, and selected teams attend an all-day filmmaking workshop where they bring their ideas to life with the help of a professional filmmaker. Participants are then invited to attend a premiere and awards ceremony to showcase their work and celebrate their achievements. SEAT projects are open to all pupils across Scotland, it's free to take part, and we've developed ways to offer our projects in an online format. Please get in touch if you'd like to learn more, we'd love to hear from you.
Okay, so as that film showed, we're an educational charity and we run projects which focus specifically on language learning and global citizenship amongst young people and children in Scotland. So this is obviously our secondary school project, Our World, and it's tailored specifically to ensure that young people receive, a leg up in terms of meeting the kind of principal educational aims that are laid out in the curriculum for excellence. With, as I said a moment ago, a kind of specific focus on those related to global citizenship and learning for sustainability as well. So Our World it's for pupils in S1 to S6. I know that the video I just showed you said sort of S3 to 6, but in the last couple of years we've developed a kind of new branch of the project for the younger year groups. So it's open to all pupils in S1 to S6 in groups of up to 4, and pupils are asked to come up with a storyboard for a short film, which they submit to us and we review it as as part of our team. This year, we're asking that the films are based on the UN Sustainable Development Goals. that all films include the use of at least one language other than English. And this is the third or fourth time that we've used the UN Sustainable Development Goals as a theme, and we found that it's worked really, really well in previous years at kind of providing a sort of launching pad for young people's interest, research, and creativity as well. SEAT staff offer, as well as this session and the upcoming CPD session in a couple of weeks' time, we also offer free online school visits to your school to support pupils, explain a bit more about the project, and help them to get the ball rolling with their kind of film ideas, as well as sharing some of our learning and teaching resources that we've either collated from our partners and partner organizations, or that we've created ourselves over the past few years. After a lot of deliberation, those storyboards which our team feel respond best to the theme of the UN Sustainable Development Goals are then invited to an all-day filmmaking workshop, where our young people get the chance to turn their film ideas into the real thing. And they also have a professional filmmaker there at the workshops, who provides them with creative support, practical tuition, and helps them to create the best film that they possibly can. So we ensure that everyone who wants to can access the workshop by offering, well, it's normally 4 workshops across Scotland in various locations. These are normally in Edinburgh, Glasgow, and then one up in the north, normally in Aberdeen. Although obviously it slightly depends on the spread of where schools are coming from and who sort of signs up for the project. And we also offer a travel budget for schools or pupils who feel that they need it, to ensure that location doesn't act as an obstacle to accessing our project. Then our sort of final part of the project is our premiere and awards ceremony, and that's where pupils get the chance to showcase their films to their friends and family, present about their ideas, and discuss their kind of Our World journey, and receive some recognition of their achievements throughout the process as well. This is always a really, really exciting event, and it allows our young people to develop their public speaking, but as well as supporting their friends and throughout the process. As I mentioned a moment ago, we're splitting the project into 2 main age categories this year. So we've got the Our World Juniors, which is for pupils in S1 to S3, and then Our World Senior Phase, which is for pupils in S4 to S6. So that's a slight sort of variation from previous years. Both year groups will have their own dedicated workshop timetable, which has been catered specifically to that age group. And they'll also have their own premiere and awards ceremony at the end of the project as well. But in advance of kind of working, whether it's school visits or the workshops, if you have any pupils with additional support needs, please just contact me beforehand, so that we can have a discussion about it and see what adaptations potentially need to be made, just to ensure that all pupils are fully supported and that the project remains, again, accessible for all. Okay, so we'll just have a brief kind of breakdown of the kind of 5 main phases of the project, of how it's going to take shape this year. So obviously we're in the sort of promotion and CPD phase 1 at the moment. And that's been going on since the kind of the start of the new year. Phase 2 is our kind of idea formation. That's what I'm hoping those that have joined us today will be beginning to think about getting started with their groups quite soon. And obviously that goes hand in hand with the online school visits, which I'll talk about in a bit more detail in a moment. And then we have phase 3, which is the actual kind of creating the storyboard. And then we have our filmmaking workshops. And then the final phase 5 is our premiere and awards ceremony, which I just spoke about a moment ago. So just in terms of sort of when you can expect these things to happen. So I've mentioned at the beginning, maybe I know a few people have joined on a little bit later. So just to kind of reiterate that. So I'm planning this for 2 weeks today, Tuesday, the 26th of September at 4 p.m. And again, I'll maybe talk to you a little bit more about currently what the plan is for that in a moment. And then between around sort of 4th of October, the week beginning 4th of October, and the 1st of December, which is the storyboard deadline date. Again, I'll talk about that in a bit more detail in a moment. We offer these online school visits, and then the storyboard deadline for both the Our World Juniors and the Our World Senior Phase project is Friday, the 1st of December. And then we have our filmmaking workshops, which happen throughout February and March of next year. And then finally, our premiere and awards ceremony will take place in June of next year. Okay, so let's go into each phase just briefly then. So as I said, this next session is planned for the 26th of September, and it will cover topics like why do we storyboard? What is and what is not a storyboard? What shape does an actual filmmaking storyboard actually take? How to teach storyboarding, or again, there's never really a right and a wrong way to do these things, but some ideas on how you can bring that into the classroom with your pupils. Some tips on creating effective storyboards. A bit more of information about what is available to the young people on the day in terms of the workshops. What equipment and support can they expect on the day, and maybe a bit of information about how to support pupils in developing their film ideas as well. As I said a moment ago, again, there's not right or wrong ways to do any of this, but I'll just do my best to kind of give some ideas of maybe examples of good practice from previous years and some of our own ideas as well. But if you have anything else that you would like to be covered in that session in 2 weeks' time, if you please just let me know kind of as soon as possible, and I will try to incorporate that into the session in a couple of weeks. So phase 2, we also offer these school visits, as I've mentioned, and they can happen on Google Meet or on Microsoft Teams, and they can take any form that you require for your group. So it can be a kind of bit of a project overview, not dissimilar to this session just now. We can talk a bit about idea development with the young people. We can provide sort of general film idea support sessions. We can provide some basic screen education and do a kind of filmmaking or storyboard creation kind of workshop with the young people. And we can talk a bit about actually, developing your storyboards as well. So again, if you email me at alex@seat.org.uk with possible dates and times that you'd like to book in a session, and we can talk a bit more about what you would like covered in that session, and we can make a kind of tailored session for your school. In the past, we've also had people booking in, multiple sessions, maybe 2 or 3, which cover different elements of the course. It's totally, and some schools, decide against having a school visit and go on and do it themselves. It's flexible and up to you really. Okay, so the storyboarding phase, teams are required to submit a storyboard of their film idea. So obviously, the CPD sessions, the resources on our website, and the school visits are also there to support with the creation of the storyboards. So just a brief breakdown about the 2 different elements of the project. So the Our World Juniors, which is S1 to S3s, are allowed to just submit their storyboard as it is. But we also ask that for the senior phase group that a short audio or video clip which explains the idea in a little bit more detail is sent alongside the storyboard. Again, if the Our World Juniors groups would like to send in an audio or video clip explaining, then that's absolutely fine as well. Because it just gives us a little bit more information. Sometimes, the creativity of our young people is fantastic, and sometimes they can run quite riot with it, as I'm sure you can probably imagine. So just a short clip to just give a little bit more detail, just so that we're totally aware of what the try and get a bit more of a grasp on what the idea is. I'll also ask closer to the time that a short form is handed in alongside, just giving again a few bits of extra information. But the deadline for our storyboards for both projects is Friday, the 1st of December. Okay, and then we have our filmmaking workshops. So selected teams are invited to an all-day filmmaking workshop where we have a professional filmmaker there to support pupils, provide tips and help pupils develop their films. These take place in February and March at various locations. As I mentioned before, normally Glasgow, Edinburgh, and one in the north, but it just depends who signs up. Then the Premier and Award Ceremony is a chance for pupils to, showcase their films, present about their experience, and receive some recognition. That will happen in June, as we mentioned a moment ago, and that's normally a kind of neutral venue. Okay, so just a bit of thinking about how, the actual shape that these groups have kind of taken and that past participants have taken when running Our World at their school in the past. So we've had a lot of, again, there's no right or wrong way of doing this, but we've had some very successful Our World entries from lunchtime clubs, after school clubs, sort of wider experience groups that are doing, a slightly, maybe an alternative timetable, for a couple of periods a week, for example. We've also had a few schools, and this has worked very well, is kind of whole class or whole year groups working on their Our World storyboards, in class together as a sort of unit of work. I know, for example, St. Luke's High School in Glasgow, the last couple of years have run it as a full year group activity with the S3s, and that's been very successful for them. That's worked really well. And again, the sessions we offer, the school visit sessions, can accommodate for whole class or whole year groups as well. That's fine. And then we've also had some really more recent, in the last few years, some really great interdisciplinary, or cross-department groups that have had very successful entries as well. So, for example, the Modern Languages department may help and support with the, writing the language, the second language element, the sort of script for that part. We may have social subjects working on the, the UN Sustainable Development Goal, working on them in class, and they can help with that, the thematic side of it. And then you may have English or media studies, helping with the kind of narrative development and the story writing as well. Again, I mean, it's a totally flexible model, really. However you feel most comfortable running it with your pupils is the most important thing, really. But there's lots of different ways that it's worked very well in the past. So again, just a brief overview of the differences between the juniors and the senior phase. So juniors is open to all pupils and S1 to S3. Just the storyboard is required by the deadline of Friday, the 1st of December. And then there's a separate filmmaking workshop and Premier and Award ceremony as well. The only difference with senior phase really is that we ask for a short audio or video clip explaining the idea to come alongside the storyboard. Other than that, it's mainly the sort of resources and I suppose the depth of study screen education that we go into with the separate groups that are the main distinctions between them. Okay, so why would pupils be kind of interested in taking part in Our World? Well, I'm hoping that the 7 C's of Our World will clarify why it's such a great option for young people. So we have creativity, citizenship, communication, confidence, core skills, context, and CVs as well. So firstly, confidence. So Our World is really great at building young people's confidence because it allows them to express themselves creatively. It encourages them to use their languages and to push themselves, but it also respects all cultures, languages, and ideas equally. Pupils are also given the opportunity to, excuse me, pupils are also given the opportunity to develop vocational skills that they might not kind of get the chance to develop elsewhere in the curriculum, such as filmmaking and editing, with knowledgeable and experienced filmmaking professionals alongside them to support, to facilitate, and provide feedback as well. Meanwhile, pupils also get to experience, a real life context in which to actually use their languages and what they've learned about the Sustainable Development Goals. And they can also meet others who share similar interests as well. Okay, so let's go to the next three then. So as well as developing kind of vocational filmmaking skills, like I just mentioned a moment ago, our world can also help develop core skills amongst young people as well. So young people's communication, both in English as they, collaborate with one another, but also in their target languages as they are, using them regularly throughout the project, are developed, by taking part. Participants are often required to problem solve and be resourceful as they navigate through the filmmaking process, and also to develop their IT skills as they shoot, edit, and present their films as well. So the theme of the Sustainable Development Goals are there to provide a stimulus for pupil creativity, but also we feel that it's broad enough as a theme to really encourage and promote the study and research of modern culture and other topical issues, which in turn kind of helps to develop, well, we hope helps to develop more outward looking and engaged citizens. So this combination of skills, knowledge, and language development combine to provide a really, really great addition to young people's CVs, and hopefully an enjoyable and meaningful experience for them. Okay, so beyond the 7 Cs of our world, the project provides you as the teacher with an opportunity to mobilize your young people as well, to engage with these UN Sustainable Development Goals and act in however big or small a way to have an impact and to sort of support, do your bit for the Sustainable Development Goals. So this Global Week to Act for the SDGs is coming up in just a few days. It's the 15th to the 25th of September. It's a really, really an area that pupils that I think is covered quite a lot within the current curriculum in Scotland, the UN Sustainable Development Goals. But we think that our world really kind of provides an interesting and unique way for the young people to look at them. We had obviously events like COP26 in Glasgow a couple of years ago, and several other kind of big events and movements which have sort of taken the public consciousness in recent years, particularly in the kind of Glasgow area, but also across the country. And the SDGs are obviously quite a broad and provocative stimuli for our young people, to get their teeth into, and feedback has generally shown us that our world provides them with a real opportunity to kind of capitalize on this interest, and encourage young people to think more about the way that their kind of local actions can affect the global picture and show what SDGs mean to them. Okay, so I'm going to just come back to this in just a moment, and I'm going to just talk a little bit about our GTCS standards for registration before going back to talk a bit about last year's statistics. So I've pulled out a few examples which discuss kind of learning for sustainability and the importance of extracurricular learning for effective teaching practice. So in terms of kind of professional knowledge and understanding, it's our responsibility as teachers to ensure that interdisciplinary learning is facilitated, in particular in relation to sustainability. Our world offers and, in fact, actively encourages a sort of IDL, interdisciplinary approach, with a specific focus on sustainability. So, for example, In terms of IDL in the past, we've had a lot of collaboration. I kind of mentioned this a moment ago fairly briefly, but we've had a lot of collaboration between modern languages, social subjects, drama, and English departments as well, where pupils have researched the SDGs in their modern studies or their geography classes, whatever, written their scripts in English or drama, for example, and then been supported with their, the second language element by their language teachers. The IDL element is absolutely not essential for this project, and we've had many very successful entries coming from all from the one department. But the opportunity is certainly there. In terms of professional skills and abilities, we also have a responsibility as teachers to try engaging young people in debate and decision making about topical issues, and to vary our teaching practice to challenge assumptions and expand world views. So the topical research and discussion part of the project allows our young people to become active citizens and to participate in the debate, really. Combined with the kind of language learning element, the project goes, we think, a long way to help broaden the minds of pupils, supporting them in providing the tools that they need to compete in an increasingly globalized and international job market. I suppose that's more aimed at the senior phase group. But these skills and core skill development that our young people will can gain from our world is certainly worth considering. We also need to show that our commitment as professionals to improving young people's care for others and the world around them. So the emphasis on collaborative learning, combined with the kind of global citizenship and learning for sustainability themes, which sort of underpin the project, promotes more engaged pupils with a high level of care for themselves, others, and the world around them as well. Okay, so I'm just going to go back a slide to our the numbers and statistics from last year's project. So as you can see here, in terms of, we were just talking about core skills and some specific skills like language speaking and communication. So in terms of confidence, 90% of teachers that took part in last year's project said that Our World made their pupils more confident in using the languages, which is great. That's what we're looking for. 85% said that Our World improved pupils' second language speaking skills. 90% said that Our World improved pupils' communication and presentation skills. And the same number, 90%, said that their pupils were more informed or far more informed on at the SDGs after taking part. And an interesting one, that last year was the first time that we'd sort of collected this piece of data, but about engagement. So 2/3, 67% of teachers felt that generally disengaged pupils generally became more engaged when participating in Our World activities. So whether it's the provide, just I think that it probably comes from the providing something that's maybe a little bit different, and these young people don't potentially get the opportunity to think about or to practice in other elements of the curriculum. So and then of course a nice one to finish on as well, 100% of teachers said that they would participate again in Our World in the future. So that kind of ties up our sort of linking Our World to the curriculum. But it's really important that I give some direct quotes as well, just to show that that I'm not just talking rubbish. So a few quotes from previous participants and colleagues about the Our World experience. So a pupil last year said, "The most important skill I learned was working in a team and learning new languages." Another pupil said that, "I like the support from staff, learning about filmmaking and mixing human rights and languages." Gillian Campbell-Thow, who was the curriculum leader for modern languages and Gaelic in Glasgow City Council, although I think just in the past year she has change role. But she said of Our World a couple of years ago, she said, the work that you do is simply essential at the moment. And what I've been particularly delighted with is the support received directly to our schools and learners. Very often here in Glasgow, our learners need that extra boost of confidence to engage with events out with the classroom. And what has been the biggest success for us is our young people engaging in meaningful and relevant language work with an intercultural context. And Our World teaches us again, this from last year. It's a great way for us to address the goals set out in the Curriculum for Excellence and Learning for Sustainability. It gives us, as language teachers, a route into looking at global citizenship in a truly interdisciplinary and skills-based way. Our pupils thoroughly enjoyed taking part, their confidence in using their languages grew, and they gained new skills. Will definitely take part again. Okay. We also had a couple more pupil comments just to sort of round us off. So it boosted my confidence in speaking other languages, and it helped me to improve my teamwork skills. And I like the support. In fact, we've already had that one, so I'll skip that ahead, sorry. Okay, so this is just a sort of promotional film that we put together a couple of years ago that just, I think it's just quite useful because it shows a little bit more sort of what it's like on the inside, I suppose, when you take part in Our World.
I've really enjoyed the whole teamwork thing and about how we learned how to make films in different ways using different techniques, and it was just really fun in general.
We've learned a lot about languages in the working industry and how you can transfer different skills.
In our film we used French, Spanish and Polish. We feel a lot more confident with them. As the day went on we got better with them, just like more practice doing it.
The part I've most enjoyed would be just the experience of putting a movie together in a different environment.
Today's been really good. The building is very well equipped for creativity and then production, and it's great to be surrounded by people who know what they're doing and can give you really good tips on how to make a good film. Yeah, it's just been a great opportunity to explore the creative side of languages.
I think I enjoyed kind of having a storyboard and then turning it into the movie.
I love the fact that we were all just working together to make this big film, and all of you were super supportive, and it's really fun.
I think the skills that we've acquired from this is using like the rule of thirds in the camera and learning how to like put the movie together. I definitely think we were more confident. When we were coming today, we were all a bit kind of nervous about being in front of the camera, but I think it's helped us to like grow and develop.
Just learned a lot of stuff about reasons to learn new languages and like reasons why it's fun to learn languages, so that's made us more interested and appreciate different languages.
From the workshop so far, we've learned to work together as a team, also being able to reflect on the footage that we've done and being resourceful.
I've probably enjoyed getting to be with different people and like the editing part, and I've learned some new things about like filming that I didn't really think about before, and that I'll probably look out for in movies.
I really liked how this kind of brought our friendship to a greater level. We spent time with each other to work together and make this brilliant project.
%. We've really enjoyed it.
It's been brilliant. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Okay, so in terms of so that was, as I said, that video was from a couple of years ago. But I've tried to outline a few of the kind of updates for this project year. But in terms of your next steps, for those that are signed up, if you haven't already, please fill in the sign up form, which is available on our website. I will also put a link to that in this chat after this session. CLPL 2, the next session in 2 weeks' time, on Tuesday the 26th of September, will, as I said before, will provide some support with teaching storyboarding and anything else that we would like to be answered in that session as well. Book yourselves in for a school visit if you would like. Again, these are online this year, just so we can try and reach as many schools as possible. And again, that's a flexible session, and that can be sort of shaped by you. So just contact me, and we can make a bit of a plan of what you would like to be covered in those sessions. And then I suppose the big date that we need to remember is Friday the 1st of December, which is the storyboard submission deadline for both the junior and the senior phase project. In terms of our sort of website and resources and other points of access and support, this is our website, seat.org.uk, and if you click on the sort of Our World tab at the top there, you will see a drop-down menu with a bit more information about the project. So I've tried to cover as much of it as I can today, but if there's maybe an FAQ, maybe you might have a question that I haven't had a chance to answer or whatever. We also have a dedicated page for each of the 2 different projects, juniors and senior phase, with, again, some resources on there and some other points of information and points of interest. We also, the L&T resources from partner organizations, that is, there's a lot of some, as I said, learning and teaching resources based on like the Sustainable Development Goals, which have been put together by our partners ScotDeck and a few other organizations from kind of across the internet. So and all these bottom 3 pages, the L&T resources down to the senior phase, I'm updating these fairly regularly and adding new things that I find and creating new things as well. So just keep an eye on those. If you want to contact me, have you got any more, if you've got any questions or you'd like a bit more information, or you want to talk to me about something that we haven't had a chance to cover today, you can phone 01315579886. You can email me on alex@seat.org.uk, although I see that there's a full stop after the word Alex there, which shouldn't be there. So it's just alex@seat.org.uk. Our social media channels are @seat_Scotland for Twitter, and facebook.com/seatscotland for Facebook, and our YouTube handle is @seat_Scotland as well. Okay, that's everything from me. So I'll just stop sharing my screen just now, and I'll open up the floor to any questions that anyone may have. But thank you very much for your time and for listening in. So if anyone has any questions, they're more than welcome to ask them now. Geraldine, sorry, yes, Geraldine.
Hi, Alex.
Hi.
Just a quick question from St David's and Dalkeith. We have got 46 young people that have shown interest to sign up. So we've made up a Google Classroom, and so that's our kind of initial stage. We've had a wee meeting with them and gone through some of those videos and things, so they're keen. Would we have to pick one of the sustainable goals, or could we have several groups in junior and senior phase doing different things?
Yes, you can. It's it's totally flexible. I would say I would actually probably recommend letting them choose their own sustainable development goal and running with that. I think with 17 goals to choose from. I mean, we often find trends developing of certain age groups being, more wanting to talk more about specific sustainable development goals. But in terms of the way that you run the project with your pupils, that's absolutely fine. Yeah, we can have a variety of sustainable development goals in both projects. Yeah, not a problem.
Okay, doke. Thank you.
Jade.
Hiya, thanks. Is there a certain format that the storyboards need to be submitted in? Because we're really pushing Canva in our school at the moment. So nice. I don't want to get them used to that, and then it's like, oh, we have to submit it in a different way.
No, that's a really good question. We have as part of the resources that I was showing you on the website where you can access them. We have a sort of blank storyboard template which we recommend that pupils use, and it gives a little bit. It sort of breaks it down, and it kind of it asks pupils to talk a bit about the length of shot in each. The length of shot, and also the SDG that they're referring to, and the camera angles used, and that kind of thing. So I will put a link. I'll send you a link to that PDF. But in terms of Canva, the pupils are more than welcome to use Canva instead. As long as the key bits of information are clear. So as long as the SDG being covered, the camera angle that pupils are planning to use within that shot, and the kind of sort of roughly the length of each shot is included, then yeah, pupils are welcome to use Canva. But I think Canva's a really good try. I mean, I think it's really nice to get young people to be sort of drawing their storyboards themselves, and kind of bring in other elements of art as well. But we've also had some brilliant storyboard entries over the year that have used things like I think it's called my storyboard. I think it's called mystoryboard.com or something.
Is it storyboard that by any chance?
Storyboard that's the one.
Yeah,
yes,
because I've just realised that I have done something like this before in my probation year back in 2018, but I think you guys were called something slightly different, and it was on migration stories. And they had to do the storyboards, and we done it in storyboard that back then, because I'm just going to be. Then we had a whole sustainability class, but now we don't, and I'm trying to do this through my lunchtime film club. So I think because we're pushing Canva in the school, it might be a bit easier for them just to find a picture rather than those perfectionist kids who will keep drawing that same storyboards box over and over again.
No, that's fine, and I think the key thing is that it's the idea is the key thing, So obviously we see a vast array of different sort of styles of entry, if you want. Some come through storyboard. That I don't think we've had Canva ones before, but I think I know Canva a fair bit, so I know that it's that would be a really effective way of doing it. But yeah, it's
and how long are the films to be again? Sorry, how long?
Okay. Yeah, so we say no less than 1 minute and no more than 5 minutes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay,
but I mean, I think I think if you aim around the sort of 3 to 4 minute mark, that's usually quite a good aim.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks, Jade. There's as I said on the last sort of slides, there's my email address, alex@seat.org.uk. So again, there's sort of from now until the 1st of December storyboard deadline. It's sort of, it's kind of a, let me just double check that that's the right, yes. Yeah, Friday the 1st of December, yeah. So yeah, until that point, you know, you're welcome to contact me at any point with any questions or you want to talk about anything. Yeah, we've got a hand up, Miss Morrison, Peggy. Yeah.
Yeah. Hi, Alex.
Hi.
Does every pupil who is in a team have to be on camera?
No. That's another really good question. I mean, we asked that the groups are limited to 4 pupils, just because you know, I think with more than that, it can just get a little bit, you know, it could be some people maybe feel like a bit of a spare part or a bit kind of like left out, whatever. So I think 4 is a good amount, but not everyone has to be on the camera as long as they're involved in the kind of planning process and involved in the on the day in terms of the actual film development. You know, whether that's they're the camera operator or whether they are you know, directing the film on the day. But yeah, they don't have to be on camera. No.
Right. And is there a minimum number of pupils that have to be on camera? Like, does it have to be at least 2 or something like that?
No, we've never had a rule like that before. So no, I think that's fine. Yeah, I think the main thing is just as long as everyone in the group is involved in the process and can sort of be and can I suppose be able to talk about their involvement as well, and you know, and be able to reflect on it to some extent as well, you know.
Yeah, I understand. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
That's great.
No problem. Okay, well, is there anything? Okay, well, I'll again, I'm open for any further questions, or if you'd like to email me with anything that comes up. But yeah, thanks very much for joining everyone today, and I'll for those that are available, then we'll be running the second session on the 26th in 2 weeks' time.
Thanks very much, Alex. That was really, really useful. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Cheers.